Welcome to my guide on the Tones of the Warlock. As for the requirements, you will need to have completed the quest, the Spirit of War, and the Jack of Spades. As for the requirements, you need 86 Archaeology, 75 Necromancy, and 66 Magic. And it does help to have 120 Ancient Viz, 104 Blood of Orcus, and 80 Imperial Steel. Afterwards, it does help to have a couple of items, and that will be the Wicked Hood, Pharaoh's Scepter, the Archaeology's Journal, and to have the Master Archaeology outfit. It's not required, but it does help because once a day you're able to focus and get 3 Pacific artifacts of your choosing, and 2 Earth, and 2 wall rooms, and some teleports to Varrock. So, speak to Def, and he was asked us, pretty much we'll go through a bit of dialogue, in which case we should get a little pop-up over covering an apprentice, in which case it's the story of Orcus, who is the former apprentice of Rashka. So, accept the quest. After that, he was like, we saw what being a student has been, in which case, Def will tell you to speak to Azandrin, who is Dr. Nabik, I believe is how you pronounce that name, who is just in the desert east of Alcread, in which case, you want to make your way over there. So, with your archaeology journal, right-click teleport, and go west. From here, click on the stand. Once the table ever loads, there we go. And now we go to the desert, which is just letter K. Once we're here, we want to talk to Dr. Nimbic, hit option 1 for yes. And for this, we'll pretty much ask him about Orcus. Say, you mean the Necromancy? Rashka? Never heard of them. But he'll tell us about Orcus, in which case he wants to uncover the history of him, which is pretty much like a cult leader in a sense. So after that, now we go south. Oh, and it does have to have a Grace of the Elves, or Sign of Porters. So, let's enter the fort. And I'll do just option 1 for the main fortress. After this, head south. If you're unable to pass this barrier that's coming up, you will need to have the Pegasus pendant, and for that, you will need the Pontifex Signet ring in your tool belt. So, enter through the chapel, climb through, and we'll be excavating these Orcus altars, in which case I already somewhat have it ready, and once the bar fills up in about 4 to 6 minutes, depending if you follow the stone sprite or not, you will have excavated the Necromantic Focus, which is a little bit of book damaged artifact. And then after your 4 to 6 minutes, you should get a little pop-up any minute now. And we got the focus. Now let's go to our quest journal. Now we need to go to the head of the research. But we need to take a restored necromantic focus, so right click your arc journal and let's teleport, repair at the workbench, which is just northeast and you want to just restore it. And you know what? I don't have the blood of the Orcus, so I'll be back. Never mind. Forgot I was making binding contracts. So, let's restore this artifact now. Next, run south. Once we're here, by the manage table, you should see the head of research. Speak to him and hit option 1 to confirm the tones of the Warlock. In which case, we'll pretty much just ask him about the research team, about someone who's named Orcus, and he's like, it rings a bell, it's connected to the desert in the Alcariad. It's like, yep, but we were wondering if we could learn more about it. He's like, okay. In which case, I'll hit option 1 to give him the necromantic focus. Since we did restore it, we do have pages that we will need to find, and that'll be the ice, smoke, shadow, and blood. But you want to go through all of the options, and he'll tell you where they are located. Talk to him again. Hit option 1 for yes. Option 2 for smoke. Now who will say it's in Wizard's Tower. Speak to him again. Hit option 1. This time ask for shadow. I do not know if you ever go through all of the dialogues, but it doesn't hurt to be safe. So speak to him the final time. And now ask for blood. Afterwards, teleport to Varrock or the Grand Exchange. And we'll be going north to the library. And if you have a lock of doors, remember, you can run behind the castle as it will be faster. Open the door, and we'll be talking to Rhoda. So, speak to him. Hit option 1 for yes. In which case, we'll ask him about the Book of Ice. In which case, we would ask him, like, getting involved in necromancy now, are you? Well, I can't say I'm shocked, in spite of what my face might suggest. After speaking to him, right-click your Wicked Hood and teleport to the Rune Crafting Guild. If not, it does help to have a necklace of the travel or passage. Teleport to the Wizard's Tower, right-click the beam, and go to the bottom floor. And then right on the east-west side, speak to Wizard Boram. He's like, have we collected the Book of Smoke yet? He's like, yes, and the Book of Blood. He's like, here you are. He's seen days, in which case we would spice it up. Now about the Blood of Book, he did put it into the Wizard's Guild that is found in Yano. So, if you're 2 Earth and 2 Ballrooms, teleport to Yano. If not, just teleport to the Lodestone and run east. Once you run east, open the Magic Guild door And we'll be speaking to the professor, who is in fact a gnome. So, ask him for the Book of Blood, in which case he's like, you want to talk to him in the basement. He's like, oh, okay. Saying, and then you'll realize that, oh, okay, gnomes are always interested in everything. He does say about the curiosity killed the cat, in which case the pirate does say, hey, some of my best friends are cats. But anyway, go down the ladder. And this has always kind of questioned me. There has always been zombies under the Wizards Guild, which I did find interesting, as in Wizards Tower, they had a lesser demon. But for here, he always had these, in which case players were able to high up, stun, and splash at the same time for magic experience. And once we killed them, they appeared, so I always found out that was odd why they're here, but it is nice to know that maybe we got a little bit of lore behind why, because this wizard was practicing necromancy, so it does make perfectly good sense about him. And then once you just speak to him, he will give you the Book of Orcus. Afterwards, teleport to the Menopause Lodestone. If you have a Scepter of the Gods or a Pharaoh's Scepter, you can actually teleport to the Grand Library to skip and save you about maybe 20-30 seconds of running. Now for here, from the Lodestone, run west. Enter the Grand Library. And you want to speak to Conan the Librarian. So we'll ask him about the Book of Shadow. He's like, yeah, there's no place like a library. It's dark and forbidden. So people shouldn't be messing with it. In which case he's like, where the sun doesn't shine. He's like, shh. In which case it's all the way at the bottom of the library. And remember, you can surge and blade dive to help going to the very middle, as it will take some time. Once you're at the little sundial, you want to inspect it. Say, looks like there's a book hidden here. So, we have now gotten the Book of Shadow. Teleport with your archaeology journal, and we'll be going back to the guild, going to the workbench, and restoring all 4 books. So, time to repair them all. If you want cool placeholders, you are able to put them in your bank, take them out, and then just keep it as like a little placeholder if you want. That way, if, let's say, the Book of Smoke, that could be like your ranging tab. The Book of Blood could be your melee tab. The Book of Ice could be your Necromancy tab, and the Book of Shadows could be your Magic tab. So, it's very up to you if you do want some cool placeholders. Run south and we'll be going to the Head of Researcher NPC. go south. And speak to him. You say, welcome. Hit option 1 to yes, continue the quest. And you'll tell him about the Book of Ice, in which case there is a confirmation. Talk to him again. And you will have to be doing this an additional 3 times for all of the books. Once he has all 4 books, he'll tell you about the team's finding, in which case we will unlock a new research. It's not required, but after the quest, right there, you should have completed, found the nom 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 research. So, now we want to speak to Death afterwards. But, again, click on the table, go to Special Research, and complete Nom Nom Nom, which does take 40 minutes. It's not required, but it does complete another achievement, which will be the Resting Lich Place. That you just need to dig to the east side of the Sorcerer's Tower, which is pretty much by the Tower of Life, which is just south of Ardoin and east of the monastery, in which case I will show that right now. Once the research team is done, you will get a message in your chat box that is finished completing the nom 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 research. So let's make our way back to the research table. You will need to bring a spade, as it does not work. So, search the table, Special Research, and report available. Click it, view report, and we will now get the coordinates, which is just 216 north and then 728 east. However, it is pretty easy to tell because they did rework the Sorcerer's Tower. So, go to your Magic Spellbook, and you want to teleport to the Kandrin Monastery or the Ardoin Lodestone and run south. From the Kandrin Monastery, run east. Once you pass the Tower of Life, we'll be right here at the Sorcerer's Tower, which did get nice rework. Now where to dig? Right in front of this tombstone, I believe, right here. So let's dig, and we got nothing. So let's dig to the other tombstone. Nothing. And now we just pretty much dig around until we do find it. And what do you know? It's right here at this little corner, in which case Roscoe says he's standing right there. You want to speak to him? So again, you want to dig, I believe, right here, right in front of this tree, which is a little bit hard to see. And then let's speak to Roscoe. In which case we are following the apprentice's footsteps, which is just Orcus, who was the apprentice to Roscoe. Go through the dialogue, and he will ask, he'll pretty much tell you the tales of Orcus. But he tells us not to worry, not to disturb him again. Doing so has completed the Resting Lich Place, which does give you 15,000 Necromancy XP. Make your way to the city of Speak to Death, which appears to be, okay, there we go, we are able to see him. We'll tell him about all 4 books pretty much, and Orcus, who is the apprentice of Rasial. And we'll discover, he's like, can't or won't, in which case he was not always a necromancy. After the dialogue, now you want to go west to the ritual site and speaking to Ted, who will teach you 4 new spells. So, make our way there. And speak to Ted. To tell us about the 4 incantations, about the books that we did read, completing the tomes of the Warlock for 60,000 Necromancy XP lamp, 40,000 Archaeology lamp, 4 new spells which will be Darkness, Greater Bone, Invoke Death, and Life Transfer. Now, to access those spells, you want to go to and inspect the Well of Cells, in which case it will be tier 5 for the Greater Bone Shield and a Life Transfer for Darkness. You will need to have unlocked a tier 6 tree, which just requires 80 Necromancy and 8,500 Vessel Souls. I want to unlock that. And you want to unlock Invoke Death ability as well. And there you go, there is your 4 new spells unlocked, which does give you a pop-up every single time you do unlock it. With that, thank you all so much for watching this guide on Tomes of the Warlock. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment, as it really does help.